It's April 8th, 2020. It's coronavirus time. And as of today, about 1.5 million people have been infected with the virus, and over 87,000 people have passed away. And when I hear those numbers, and when I remember that behind those numbers is an actual human being, I keep wondering, what does Jesus think? What does Jesus think about this? And so I want to start a three-part series on what Jesus thinks about coronavirus. And I think we're going to see through this three-part series that Jesus, first of all, has compassion on those who suffer. Secondly, that he's angry. And third, that he trusts God in the midst of difficulties. So the first one today that I want to look at is that Jesus has compassion. And I want to look at the story in Luke, in chapter 7 of Luke. Jesus is walking into this village, and right as he gets to the village, a procession, a funeral procession is passing out of the village. And he finds out that the person who had passed away is a young man. A young man. And the young man was a widow's only son. And in that culture, a widow doesn't have a husband, and now she's lost her only son. And males would be the main providers in that culture. So she's lost everything. And the text says, and I'll read it, it says, when the Lord saw the widow, his heart overflowed with compassion. Don't cry, he said. Then he walked over to the coffin and touched it. Young man, he said, I tell you, get up. And the text says that the dead boy sat up and began to talk, and Jesus gave him back to the widow. The key word I want to look at there, though, is that word compassion. In the midst of a funeral, in the midst of mourning, Jesus isn't just looking at it from afar. He doesn't not care, but the text says that he has compassion. Now, this is important because I just read in a neighborhood blog the other day, someone said to someone else, I'll pray for you. And somebody else chimed in and said, what do you mean you'll pray? Who are you going to pray to? If there's a God, he would do something about this. So there must not be a God. Well, I want to say that God, Jesus, in the midst of difficulties, in the midst of death, as we see in Luke chapter 7, God has compassion. God has compassion. He has compassion on every one of those people that has the virus, on every one of the people that has experienced suffering as a result of the virus, and every one of the families that has been mourning as a result of this death. Jesus has compassion.